Good day, everyone. We are now in Chapter 12, Restructuring Organizations. In this chapter, we begin to examine technostructural interventions, change programs focusing on technology and structure of organizations. Because of increasing global competition, rapid technological and environmental changes, organizations are forced to restructure themselves from rigid bureaucracies to leaner, more flexible designs. Today, we will be discussing structural designs, downsizing, as well as re-engineering. However, I will only be focusing on the introduction of this chapter, as well as the function structure, divisional structure, and the matrix structure, mainly on their definition, advantages, disadvantages, and their contingencies. In here, the overall work are divided into subunits that are coordinated for task completion. So, based on a contingency perspective, organization structures should be designed to fit with at least 4 factors. So, these are the 4 factors: the environment, organization size, technology, and organization strategy. Because organization effectiveness depends on the extent to which its structure is responsive to these contingencies. Now, traditionally, organizations only structure themselves into one of these 3 forms. The first one is functional departments that are task specialized. Second one is self-contained divisional units that are oriented to specific products, customers, or regions, or the matrix structure that combine both functional specialization and self-containment. However, because of the changes in the environment as well as the decreasing competition, more recent innovation has been made to organizational structures. Now, the functional structure divides the organization into functional units, such as marketing, operations, research, and development. Now, from what you can see here, departments are organized into functional units such as research, manufacturing, engineering, etc. The major functional units are staffed by specialists from those functions, and it is considered easier to manage specialists if they are grouped together under the same head and if the head of the department has been trained and has experience in that particular function. Now, presented here are the advantages, disadvantages, and the contingencies of the functional structure. So we have here the advantages. It promotes and develops technical specialization. It supports flexibility of deployment and reduces duplication of scarce resources. It enhances career development for specialists within large departments. It facilitates communication and performance because superiors share expertise with their subordinates. And it supports the development of common processes. Now, for the disadvantages, it emphasizes routine tasks, which encourages short time horizons. It fosters narrow perspectives by managers, not business metrics and broader criteria for decision making. It processes cut across functions, which can make coordination and scheduling difficult, or the white space problem. It obscures accountability for overall outcomes. Managers and employees may not have a line of sight to the business. Difficulty developing general management capability. Now, for the contingencies, it has stable and certain environment, small to medium size, routine technology, interdependence within functions, and goals of efficiency and technical quality. Now, I believe I do not need to explain those because each of those are pretty much understandable. Now we go to the divisional structure. It groups organizational activities on the basis of products, services, customers, or geography. Now, from the definition itself, we can see here that unlike the previous structure that organized organizational groups into functional units, the divisional structure represents a fundamentally different way of organizing. All or most of the resources and functions necessary to accomplish a specific objective are set up as a division headed by a product or division manager. Now, each of these managers reports to a particular division or product vice president. rather than to a manufacturing vice president. In effect, a large organization may set up smaller or sometimes temporary special purpose organizations, each geared to a specific product, service, customer, or region. Now, many organizations use the divisional structure to expand globally. Now, these are the advantages, disadvantages, and contingencies of the divisional structure. For the advantages, it recognizes sources of interdepartmental dependencies and reduces complexity. It fosters an orientation towards divisional outcomes and clients. It allows diversification and expansion of skills and training. It ensures accountability by departmental managers and so promotes delegation of authority and responsibility. And it heightens departmental cohesion and involvement in work. For the disadvantages, it may use skills and resources inefficiently, like coordination, sharing, and learning across division is difficult. It limits career advancement by specialists to movements out of their departments. It impedes specialists' exposure to others within the same specialties, and it is hard to create common processes. It puts multiple role demands on people and so creates stress, and line of sight is to business and may promote divisional objectives over organization objectives. Now, for the contingencies, unstable and uncertain environments, large-sized technological interdependence across functions, and goals of product specialization and innovation. Now, we are down to the last traditional structural design, which is the matrix structure. It superimposes a lateral structure that focuses on product or project coordination on a vertical functional structure. Now, some organization development practitioners have focused on maximizing the strengths and minimizing the weaknesses of both the functional and the divisional structure, and this effort has resulted in the matrix structure. Now, every matrix organization contains three unique critical roles. The top manager, example, the president or general manager, who heads and balances the dual chains of commands. The matrix bosses, or the functional and product or program vice presidents, who share subordinates, and two boss managers, who report to the two different matrix leaders and manage workers deployed to the specific product or program. Now, in figure 12.4, you can see here that only the software manager and the hardware manager have two bosses. The software and hardware team members take their day-to-day direction from the software and hardware managers but belong to the engineering function. However, like all organizational structure, matrix structure also has both advantages and disadvantages, as shown in table 12.3. For the advantages, it emphasizes cross-functional product or program focus and integration of functional excellence. It uses people flexibly because departments maintain reservoirs of specialists. It permits functional learning to be carried between projects or programs. It recognizes and provides mechanisms for dealing with legitimate multiple sources of power in the organization. And it can adapt to environmental changes by shifting emphasis between project and functional aspects. For the disadvantages, it can be very difficult to introduce without a pre-existing supportive management climate. It conflicts between businesses and functions over methods, resources, and priorities is always present. Increases role ambiguity, stress, and anxiety by assigning people to more than one department. And without power balancing between product and functional forms, it lowers overall performance. It makes inconsistent demands, which may result to unproductive conflicts and short-term crisis management, and it may reward political skills as opposed to technical skills. Now, for the contingencies, it has dual focus on unique product demands and technical specialization, pressure for high information processing capacity, and pressure for shared resources. Now, that is all for my assigned topic. The rest will be discussed by my other two group mates.